Yes, fight fans, Jay's Fight Talk here with my No Punches Pulled co-host, Liam Tully. How are you doing, Liam?
All good, mate. Looking forward to this one. Enjoyed the boxing all morning with a bacon sandwich. Looking forward to this main event now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a different one. Japan likes it's Tuesday, tea time for them, sort of mid-morning, early afternoon fight cards. We have the return of the monster. Inoue is fighting TJ Doheny. I'm actually really excited for this fight, not necessarily because it's a 50-50 fight, no disrespect to Doheny, but any monster fight is a monster fight. You know, he's never in boring fights. What are you saying, Liam?
Completely agree with you, mate. Any chance we get to see Inoue is one we got to take. We don't know how much longer we got left of him now. He's into his 30s. So the fact he's been so active, and this is already his second outing of the year after being out in May, we've got to enjoy, we've got to respect. Regardless of it maybe not being the type of opponent we want to see him in with, we still got to enjoy the fact we're getting to see the monster out, haven't we?
I think, he's going to be one of the guys that isn't really appreciated until we haven't got him anymore, because a lot of the casual fans, because he barely, I think, I know of him fighting twice outside of Japan. It could be once. I may be making those numbers up, but I've definitely seen him box once in the US. To the casual boxing fan, and I'm not being flippant of the word casual, that's not a disrespectful manner, but the likes of us that are sort of boxing nerds or fight sport nerds know him, and he's a great. But to the mainstream audience, nobody knows who he is. So he's underappreciated in that respect to the masses. But as far as I'm concerned, he's higher than Terence Crawford in a pound for pound ranking for me, just based on activity and schedule of work. What do you think about that?
Completely agree with you, mate. To the casual audience, he's underappreciated. So you think, just go back to last weekend, we were up doing a live at 3 a.m. so we could watch the Diego Pacheco. At the moment, it's about 4 a.m. now in Vegas. How many Americans are actually up right now watching this fight? The commentators who are doing it off location in Vegas have said 3 or 4 times that they're struggling to stay awake for commentating on it. So he doesn't get the audience viewership that he should be getting. If this, like you say, if he was in America all the time, he's fought there for out of Japan 3 times, once in the UK and twice in America. And one of those was in a lockdown bubble when he had to fight in America because Japan was completely shut down. So he moved his whole camp, his whole life over to America for 6 months and fought in one of the first bubbles that Bob Arum put on. Yeah. So he is underappreciated unless you are like us sitting here on a Tuesday lunchtime, giddy as anything to watch him fight. Not many, it's one of those weird things, isn't it? Waking up this morning, now you don't have to wait all day for the fight. You can get into it straight away. It's fantastic.
Yeah, love it. I mean, I've had to take my lunch break, but needs must, I'd rather be sat watching, greatness at work, as cheesy as that sounds, rather than sat eating a cheese sandwich. I've never missed any of his fights. I know a couple of guys that have boxed him. I know Jamie McDonnell and Paul Butler. So I've always had sort of a vested interest. He's always been sort of in and around weight divisions of people that I follow. So, yeah, it's... I'm intrigued because, we could get one or two things. We could get a straight out ass whooping by Inoue, or we could get Doheny looking to sort of shell up and not get taken out and steal rounds. I don't think he's got enough left in the tank to be able to steal rounds.
No, I don't see it that way. I think Doheny... He's in this opportunity on merit. I saw something just after we done our preview last night with Sam that he's fought in Japan 5 times, won 5 fights, and he's got a 78% KO record. That's just in Japan alone. So out in Japan, he's become known. He's become known as going over there and being able to beat a decent caliber of Japanese fighters. But at this point in his career, I completely agree with you. I don't think he has enough left to keep Inoue off for too long at all. Even if he covers up, Inoue will find a way to pick him off.
Yeah, it's a tough out. It's a tough ask for him, isn't it? I think everybody's expecting Inoue to blast through him, but we'll just have to wait and see. Jack, Absolute Boxing, how's it going, lads? Yep, all good, fella. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. If you're not following Absolute Boxing on X or YouTube, you need to do that. Lots of up to the minute boxing and fight sports content. Great lad. Supports the channel, supports myself, Liam, and Sam over at SW Fight Hub in everything that we do. So, likewise, get following Absolute Boxing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they're just showing They're doing a bit
So
of killer around.
they've shown this tape already. They're going through Inoue's last sort of 4 or 5 performances, so since he sort of swept through the division he's in at the moment. So yeah, I think this is going to be the last one, and then we'll be seeing Jimmy Ledden, and we'll be off and away.
I'm excited for this. They certainly know how to build it up in Japan. I know the crowds are a lot less raucous than sort of the Western crowd. But they still buy tickets. You know, I've seen the Saitama Arena filled to the brim, and it's like a flipping library. But there's 60, 70,000 people in there. They're a little bit more reserved in the terms of, you know, how they support their fighters, but they buy tickets and put bums on seats regardless of whether they're screaming or not and throwing beer everywhere like we do.
Yeah, there's enough. And let's put it this way: I'll take the audience or the level of crowd you get in a Japan Tokyo show as opposed to the manufactured, pumped in what we're getting in Saudi. I will take this Japan audience all day long.
Saudi,
they want to be there. Don't they? Okay. I've been watching this since about 8 o'clock this morning. The first couple of fights, there wasn't a lot of people in there, but they were there. They were applauding. They were engaged in the fights. The chief supports helped. That's a contender for fight of the year. If that was in a higher weight division, Jesus Christ, people will be waxing lyrical about it already. Unfortunately, the fact it's down at bantamweight, it will get shouted about by the likes of us. But on a wider level, it's probably not going to be spoken about. But they're respectful. They're there, and they respect the art of boxing. They respect both fighters. Doheny could go and get blown out in the first round here, but he'll still get applauded out of the ring, and he'll still be treated with the level of respect that the fighter deserves.
Yeah,
definitely can't always say over here, can you?
It doesn't happen over here, but
it happens.
Japan have always embraced sort of foreign fighters as such. I mean, it's a totally different sport, but MMA, for example, Rampage Jackson, Quinton Rampage Jackson, he is an absolute superstar in Japan. I think he has mixed Japanese children. I think he married a Japanese girl, or certainly was in a relationship. He made a life for himself there. He's still to this day sort of a big star over there. So they embrace foreign fighters, and I think TJ Doheny will get, you know, treated with the utmost respect, win, lose or draw.
Yeah, I mean, he's like, as I said a minute ago, he's had 5 fights out in Japan and won all 5, and he sort of had to do that in the away corner for every single fight he's had in Japan. He's been the supposed B side of the fight. One of his knockdowns I saw when I was looking on social media last night was.
Not you.
Yeah, that's me. Sorry, mate.
It's all right. I just didn't know where it was coming from. I thought that's not me.
One of the knock finishes I saw from Doheny last night, it was in a leisure centre, your equivalent of what we see at York Hall, Brentwood's over here. It was, you know, and he's fought on a B-side and he's built his way up to be in this position. He's been a world champion in the past, as we said. He's been in with the like of Beluta, Mick Conlon, Sam Goodman. Okay, he's fallen short against them. But to keep going into that caliber of opposition, you have to build yourself back up. You're not just going into those fights, losing, fight the next one, lose. He's getting some good victories in there. And he might not be mandated for this fight, but he is at least in the top 10 in each of the governing bodies. So he's putting himself in a shot window. It's not picks without being too handpicked, if that makes sense to the people.
Yeah, he's and I said this on I think I said it on No Punches Pulled last week, and I mean this with the utmost respect. When I say best of a bad bunch, I don't mean that everybody's terrible in the division. What I mean is there's no one else left for him to fight, really. We're not going to get any of the big unification matchups. There's nobody sort of above him that is clambering to fight with him. Doheny's a former world champion. He's mixed at the top level. He's ranked in the top 10 in all the organizations, and he's coming off a 3 stoppage victories, I think. He's earned this fight. For me, at 37, to be able to comfortably make the weight and still be able to box at a competitive world level, for me, says everything you need to know about Doheny.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't look weight drawn yesterday, did he? He was on the scales and he looked set. He didn't look dead behind the eyes. I know, obviously, every fighter is going to do their best to look good on the scales, but Doheny looked like he'd made the weight comfortably. It didn't look like it had been, he'd had to kill himself to make it. And let's hope it reflects on his performance, because if we're being honest, this is his last shot at a world title. You're going in against one of the greatest. For me, he is my number 1 pound for pound at the moment, as we're going to have a conversation on later this week. But, you know, you hope he goes out there and makes the most of it, whether he lasts a round or 7.
Yeah, it's intriguing for me. I mean, I've picked, as we all have, sort of 4 to between 4 and 7. I think you said between 4 and 6. I said round 6, and I think Sam, our co-host on No Punches Pulled, which you can catch this evening at 7:30 on SW Fight Hub's YouTube channel. We've all sort of gone within sort of 5 or 6 rounds. I think Håkan Johansson had said 5. I think Absolute Boxing has also said. I think everybody's sort of banking on Doheny just crumbling under extreme amounts of pressure. But for me, whether I expect that or not, I'm still intrigued to see Inoue work him out, and it's mouth-watering regardless of what people say. Proper boxing fans are intrigued by this matchup. The matchmakers haven't made it because it's a walkover, as you've just said. It's not a mandatory as such. It is a voluntary, but it's not a hand-picked tomato can that some champions we have seen, or some fighters have fights. They get to a certain level and they're still hand-picking walkovers. This is no walkover.
They're just showing now, as everyone at home probably can see, weigh-in from yesterday. And I stand by the point I just made. Doheny, for a 37-year-old to comfortably be inside the weight limit, not have to have a second attempt. He's taking, as you would expect, he's a fighter taking this opportunity seriously. He's not come here for a paycheck and to roll over. I could be proven wrong in 20 minutes' time, but he looks like he's here to give it a go. Whatever the best is that TJ Doheny has left at 37 years old, he's going to put into this fight against Inoue. Will it be enough? More than likely not. It will be up there with one of the most seismic shocks in boxing if Doheny pulls it off, and I'm happy to go on record as saying that. But he's going to give the best he's got. And here's Jimmy Lennon. It's showtime, mate.
Here we go. Yes, jab it boxing. Can't wait. For me, Inoue is pound for pound with activity and credentials. If you'd have caught us 5 or 6 minutes ago, we said something very similar. For me, is above Terence Crawford even, just based on activity. Terence Crawford is a once, twice a year. I think Sam said last night this will be Inoue's 4th defence of the year, or it would be his 3rd and his 4th, because I think he's already booked for December, is he?
Yeah, so he fought 3 times last year, and he looks scheduled to fight 3 times again this year. So that would be 6 fights in 2 years. And you have to excuse the years before that because the Japanese rules around COVID were all over the place, weren't they? So he had a bit of an enforced layoff, which is why we saw him over in America in the bubble.
Could TJ be the next Buster Douglas? Absolute Boxing. I'm hoping so, because I've bet on it. And I think we know what Liam thinks, because about a minute ago he said he could be proved wrong in about 20 minutes. They haven't done the ring walks yet, and my maths, 3 3-minute rounds times 12 is a lot longer than, with a minute's breaks, longer than 20 minutes. So Liam's not expecting it to go the full 12-round distance. Here we go. Jimmy Lennon with the announcements. So for anybody just tuning in, we're doing a live watch along. We're just about to get the ring walks. So yeah, we're going to give you sort of play-by-plays the best we can. I'm no boxing commentator, neither is Liam, but we will keep you as informed as possible. If we can remember that we've got a live on and we don't just get mesmerised by Inoue and you just see 2 guys staring at screens.
Here we go. As Doheny starts making his walk, that same confidence we've seen from him all week in all the bits we've seen coming to us from Japan. He's had an air of confidence about him. Like, he knows it's his last shot. He knows, but he's also earned it. He's done it the hard way. He's been the B-side on a lot of fights to put himself in this opportunity. And we're here now, aren't we, where this is, at these lower weight classes, this is their biggest fight they can get. This is their Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk moment, their chance to propel himself onto a world stage for Doheny.
Yeah, he's here to fight. He's not scared. Dylan Metcalf, stop trolling and get back to work. Or you'll get a formal warning. I will come downstairs and beat you up. But yeah, if you haven't guessed, Dylan works with me. He's a consummate troll in real life.
Make sure the door's locked.
Yeah. No, in fact, the key's on the outside. He'll bloody lock me in. Yeah, for me, I just want Doheny to put up a good showing. I'd hate to see him get blasted out of there inside a couple of rounds. I don't like to see that from anybody, to be fair. I expect Inoue to win. Nothing's briefly yesterday at the weigh-in. I saw a little chink, not a chink, but I saw the demeanor change with Inoue. I don't know if you caught that. He sort of smiled a little bit. I've never seen that from him before, and I don't know whether that's his overwhelming confidence or whether he just broke character for a split second, and that might have been what Doheny was looking for. You know, play they do it, don't they? Where they play the friend to, you know, for him not to be as amped and pumped up when they go in and they end up catching them cold. I think Inoue is too professional for that, but you know, mind games do play a big part in professional sport.
We did say last night, didn't we, that this is possibly not the fight Inoue. What you wouldn't imagine this is a fight and has as much attraction to it for Inoue as some of his other fights. So as Lewis Neary, that was personal. That was some of his comments, the fact that he'd popped hot for drugs when they were, before it was announced they were scheduled to fight in around 2019. Neary then had his positive test and everything that comes with that. So Inoue was emotionally invested in that fight, and perhaps that played a part in the fact he came out and got caught in the first rounds. This build-up's been very cordial. Him and Doheny have been on cards together over the last few years, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely. How much have I got on Doheny? Absolute Boxing, just in case my missus is watching this, £1, mate.
50p, mate. 50p,
yeah, just a fun bet, mate. Just a fun bet. I'll send you my slip after. not enough for me to quit work if it wins, let's put it that way. But enough to make it interesting. Only bet what you can afford to lose, guys. And if there's a betting company wants to sponsor us and give us a load of money, then feel free. There's a slot available.
Always gamble responsibly, people. That's the way.
Yeah, you have to. Only gamble what you can afford to lose. £1 too much. Yep, I am probably on the same page, but you got to be in it to win it, my mate. Exactly. They all said that when I bet on Joshua to lose in round 7 to Andy Ruiz, coupled with Josh Kelly to draw and Katie Taylor to win on points. Thank you.
As Inoue makes his way to the ring here, there's a look of focus on him, isn't there, mate? But there is that smile. But there's that smile that you don't always touching gloves with people at ringside. There's a smile on his face. Again, we're not reading anything into it, but there is a few differences through Inoue to what we're very used to.
You're seeing what I've seen. He definitely looks a little bit more approachable. It's probably the only word. Normally, he's got this steely focus and he's beeline for the ring, and he's never normally touching gloves. And I've barely seen the kid smile. We need to plan a trip to Japan to see him, lads. This looks mad. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to go to Japan, not because of Inoue, just in general. It's a part of the world that I've visited most corners of the world, but Japan is never a place I've been. I'd love to go. I would love to experience this, or the Saitama Super Arena. Wow,
mate, he fights 3 times a year, so it's not one of those fights you're having to plan a couple of years in advance. You've got plenty of opportunities.
We might do the no punches pulled road trip.
Don't excite me this time of day, mate. Come on.
We need a TUI sponsorship.
Yeah. Any airlines that want to give us some flights, we'll give you some good content in return. Let us know.
Yeah, we will. Absolute Boxing is off to Thailand in February, so it's as close as he'll get. Have a look, mate. If he boxes in Feb, I'll be jumping on a boat across.
Absolutely. He goes early in the year, so you never know. Absolute Boxing, he goes early in the year.
Yes, he does.
There you go. We've got the fighters in the ring, Irish and Japanese anthem to come, and then it will be back over to Jimmy Lennon for the announcements. Or the introduction, should I say.
We should see leather on face in about 5 minutes, people. I mean, it's a sold out venue. It looks fairly full.
16,000 capacity from what I've seen. I mean, Inoue's huge. He'll sell out anywhere. He done 60,000 with Neary back in May, and they've moved this one to a smaller arena. I think they could have sold this out 2-3 times over.
Yeah, he's an absolute superstar, isn't he, over there? I'd love to see that transfer across to sort of the Americas and the UK. I'd love him to get his props before he retires as a great. I know he gets that from sort of boxing people and hits, lightweight boxing people. We're a couple of guys, boxing fans, but we're in and around the sport, and everybody we speak to sees him as a great. But I'd love him to cross over. I would. I think he deserves it, but I don't think he will. The smaller weight divisions are not sexy, is what people say, and it's a shame really, because some of the best fights I've ever seen are in the lower weight classes, sort of super featherweight, lightweight, and below. you know, because they're so fast, intricate and skillful. It's a shame.
I think
Doheny looking focused at the anthem.
The best comparison I can make, mate, is for us in the Western world, it's hard for us to feel, as much as we love watching Inoue, it's hard for us to get that attachment to him because of the language barrier. He doesn't speak any English. Everything we hear is through a translator, so we don't have that emotion that comes from him. The best way I can compare it is to Canelo. Before Canelo started embracing the American audience and speaking English, we loved Canelo. Everyone loved what he'd done and could see him up there pound for pound, but it felt detached, removed from him. Now he's embraced he is up there, isn't he? And that is
the ironic thing is, no disrespect, that'll be my tagline, Jay's no disrespect fight talk, but as Canelo's career is tapering off, he's becoming more appeasing to the fans, so his fan base has increased. I mean, my missus were on about him the other week. My missus does not give two stuffs about fights. She's not interested, but she mentioned him because she'd seen an interview that he'd done in English.
Yeah.
You know, so it adheres him to a different type of fan base. And I think Inoue could benefit from that. Whether he does that or not, I don't think he's too bothered. To be fair, he's not bothered about boxing outside Japan, really, is he?
Canelo had to adapt to the Western market. He knew he needed to be fighting in America, and not only fighting in America, but appealing to a Western audience when he was starting that run at Unifying 168, didn't he? He needed to start getting the Western audience on side. That's why he paired with, that's one of the reasons, as well as the cash, that he paired with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, because he knew that would bring him into the European audience more.
Yeah.
Whereas Inoue is that big. That's why I said no to the Turkey money to fight at Wembley. That's why we're seeing this fight. Inoue was offered to fight at Wembley, remember, people, but he does not need to dance to Turkey's tune, and he's one of the very few fighters that doesn't need to do it.
It's actually refreshing, to be fair, that he's not taking the money and run. Absolute Boxing's going to be training in boxing for a month in Thailand, same gym as the Chiu brothers, Tim Chiu. That's good. Is that Tiger Muay Thai, possibly, Jack? And then he's also said that the more Usyk and Canelo spoke in English, the more people love them. That's what we've just been saying. I agree. It happens in MMA as well. You see some of the dominant Brazilian champions like Alex Pereira. I think if he spoke English, a lot more people would be interested in watching him, just for the simple fact that he can communicate with all the fan base. But there are greats that never speak English. Duran, barely heard him speak English. Beloved. Do you know I stood opposite him and next to him for 45 minutes at that way? No, not sure. No, it wasn't that way in. Scott Quigg fought Panamanian, I think. Anyway, I'm stood opposite this guy and I'm thinking, why has that old guy got 5 times world champion on his hat? I'm looking. I thought, shit, it's Roberto Duran. So I made a beeline for him. I said, can I have a photo, please? And he went, yeah. And the second I posted the photo, security ushered him out. I was stood next to him for 45 minutes. Absolute douchebag, man.
Anyway, as we digress, we're getting into the ring announcements now. We're getting close to the first bell going. Final prediction, sticking with your body shot TKO, as you said yesterday.
Body shot TKO round 6. What are you going with? You said round 6.
I said between 4 to 6. 4 to 6 TKO, I said.
Yeah, I think that bet's safe.
If it is a body shot, people, be sure Jay will be stitching this and dining out on it for a few days, guys. So we'll be seeing plenty of
forever. We've seen Sam doing that all week with his prediction. So Absolute Boxing says third round KO.
Sam's got a segment on calling the body shot on No Punches Paul tonight, hasn't he? I think we got to rein him in on that.
He has, yeah. I think he's changing his handle to Sam Mystic Predictor Walker at SW Fight Hub.
Here we go then.
There we go.
Tuesday lunchtime, World Championship action. Doesn't get much better.
It doesn't get any better than this. Forget the cheese sandwiches. We've got the monster. Yeah, he looks focused, doesn't he?
They both do. To be fair, you can't say either of them are looking particularly flustered, and you wouldn't expect that from either. You've never seen anything in either fight.
World champions, aren't they? They know what they're doing. They've done this dance plenty of times before. I think the good thing for Doheny is the fact that the crowd are not raucous. You've not got that to worry. You know, the boos and the jeers, and you know they just don't clap for you. So it's not a very hostile atmosphere.
Yeah, and Doheny did admit, funnily enough, when he fought Michael Conlon, it was a Paddy's Day show in the Hulu Theatre at the MSG, and he said the Irish crowd that night did actually have an impact on him. He knew it would be a lot of Irish fans over there, and he is Australian Irish himself, but they were so pro-Conlon that it did actually have an effect on him, which is, it just shows that anything can affect a fighter at any time. But here we go. The referee is calling the two boxers together for his final instructions.
Chabit Boxing reckons Inoue round 6. Yeah, he does look more than ready. He looks zoned in.
Just excited.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm more excited than I was yesterday now that it's actually here. I didn't think I'd be as excited as I was, but I feel something special's coming, be that an upset or an absolute mesmeric performance.
Just a chance to see a pound for pound great in Inoue is always something you can't sniff at, can you?
No, and Doheny's out there for the bald guys because Inoue's got a head of thick hair, which I'm jealous about. So yeah, do it for the baldies, TJ. Do it for the baldies. Right, all or nothing. Ben Kovac is the referee from Hungary. I've actually never seen this guy before. That doesn't mean a thing. He's just a new ref to me. Looks fairly young. Hopefully not inexperienced.
Just thinking the same thing, mate. It's not a ref I've seen before in a world title fight, but like you say, it doesn't mean to say he's not.
But that's a good thing. You know, fresh young referees, they're not influenced by the old guard.
Hey, that's the topic the other time, mate, talking about referees and judges. We could
we'll save that for another show. Seconds out, round 1. Here we go. Tentative here, so they're just feeling each other out.
Yeah, no one really, neither of them really looking to throw anything.
I don't like Doheny fainting and ducking down. I think he's going to walk onto a concussive right hand. You see how low he's ducking there?
Yeah, and Inoue always stands very tall as well. So especially when a fighter is stepping down, that just gives him even more leverage for his shots, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even when we've seen Inoue in trouble, as we did against Doheny, we're still standing quite tall and tucked up nicely. He's never one to duck and sort of use too much upper body movement, is he? Anyway, everything comes from his arms, hips.
Inoue's seeming to take the centre of the ring, but TJ's not backing. Doheny's not backing off as such. They're sort of I'll say it again, they're sort of feeling each other out, which you would expect at a high-level world championship first round.
So downloading data, to coin a Loma phrase, downloading data, both of them here. You can say Doheny's definitely not covering up, is he? He's throwing feints, he's moving around. He doesn't look like he's a rabbit in the headlights. So
you can see Doheny's ready to jump back, though. You can see he's got a lot of weight on his back foot, ready to spring away from the right, looking for the left uppercut. Doheny there, I think he sort of showed it to Inoue, but I think Inoue's too cute to get caught with that. You're only going to catch him with something like that when he's hurt, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know how much I read into Doheny looking to be on the back foot. He is a back foot pressure fighter, so that's natural for him. Okay, maybe jumping back so quickly isn't, but all his best work from what I've seen from having a look at him in the last few weeks has come off the back foot. He doesn't often spend a lot of time on the front foot unless he's got an opponent hurt. So not reading too much into that so far.
Inoue just hit him to the chest and it sounded like he'd hit him with a bat. His power is...
How this dude has...
But Doheny doesn't, like you said, he doesn't look phased, doesn't look out of his depth yet. I know we're only sort of 2 minutes into the first round, but, you know, it's close. I knew he's done more for me.
Yeah. Would agree with you there. So far, we haven't seen any of the drama we saw back in May when he was on the floor against Airy, have we? But there's still time.
Not yet. No, we certainly haven't seen that yet, but, you know, it's time. Good right to the body there, but Doheny was pulling away. He's staying away from the power, isn't he?
He is.
He's moving to his left a lot. Which is what he needs to do. He can't walk onto that power. He'll get put to sleep. I do believe if he carries on ducking so low, though, he is taking a massive risk with that. But
I think, and what we've seen in this first round comes back to what we said yesterday. If Doheny uses his movement and decides he wants to move around and keep Inoue on the move as well, because when Inoue can plant his feet and get his combinations off, that's when he can end the fight in an instant.
Yeah.
This tactic we're seeing from Doheny here, okay, it could just be prolonging the inevitable, prolonging the finish, but at least we're seeing Doheny making him have to figure something out. He's not giving him straight lines to come in, is he, from what we saw in the first round?
Absolute Boxing's asking, is Doheny going to come to fight or survive, though? Well, at the minute, mate, I think, we've got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was just feeling it out that his first round.
He's coming to fight. I don't think we're going to see Doheny become a punch bag and cover up. Again, this is there for us both to be stitched and proved wrong, but I think Doheny's going to give this a go. He knows it's his last chance to get to the top table in boxing, so go all in, give everything you got is what I think. I'm not sure if you agree there, Jay.
I agree.
Scored that first round 10-9 in the favour of Inoue. I think he just done, neither of them done a lot, but he just done slightly more. He managed to land a couple of glancing blows.
Yeah, a little bit more.
As we move into this second round.
Jab it boxing. This will be a battle of the front foot position. Whoever can get it in the outside and will be able to dictate the pace here. Doheny looks massive. I agree. Doheny does look big.
He's starting to take more of a step forward here in the second round.
Did you see what I mean about ducking low, though? Then he nearly lost his feet. He nearly did the splits.
Mate, and that was going to be my next. That was going to be my next. He's starting to come forward, ducking even lower, isn't he? He seems to be getting. He's going to trip over his own feet at this rate. He's
got a bit sloppy there. He don't need to rush because that could be, dangerous.
But ducking low, as dangerous as we think it is clearly a tactic. There's obviously something him and his team have seen there to say that setting like that and positioning himself low, it's obviously something they've seen in Inoue's makeup to say that's the right way for them to go.
Yeah,
not sure what it might be myself, but
I can't see what it is, but Inoue does bring his feet together as well, though. So if you can rush him backwards, he could unsettle him, and if he loses his footing, drops his hands, you can catch him. Oh.
As we saw against Anissa Doheny, he got his feet caught multiple times in that fight, and Doheny's that slick and that quick.
Yeah, I don't think Doheny's that quick, or as quick, should I say.
No, Doheny definitely isn't as quick as Doheny. Doheny's speed was up there with Pacquiao for me in terms of how quickly he could get in and out and get his shots off.
Possibly faster, Filipino Flash. Yeah. Possibly. I mean, he was definitely up there for speed.
Well, Pacquiao kept his speed, but lost it slightly, didn't he, as he moves up the weights, and obviously, Doheny always stays in and around the lighter weight. So, yeah, possibly. Doheny's moving against the ropes lots, but what he is doing well is as soon as Inoue comes in, he's finding himself off. He hasn't taken any big shots on the ropes yet, has he?
No.
Again, I'd like to see, but it's fake bringing it in, isn't he?
Yeah, defensively, Doheny looks solid at the moment. He was lucky not to get caught with a left hook then. Very lucky. Inoue seems to be finding the jab a little bit more regularly now. He's hitting with 3 or 4 solid jabs, but southpaw jab there got smacked in the face by Doheny. So Doheny's taking one to give one at the minute, but still looks in this fight.
Yeah, I think if we can give absolute boxing an answer to his question from this second round, Doheny is coming to fight. He's not looking to cover up and be one of the few fighters that last 12 rounds with Inoue. He's gonna give it a good go.
Yeah. For now, I'm just wondering if his age potentially will catch up at him because it's a high pace. He's having to defend and work and think about it. Shelled up a little bit there.
I think the pace is okay whilst he's not taking shots. If Inoue starts teeing off on him with this pace, then it will become a factor. But if it's just the pace, if that makes sense, without him taking a huge amount of damage, then I think he'll be okay at the moment.
Yeah, Inoue 10-9 for me.
Absolutely.
So I've got him 2 rounds up at the moment, 2-0. Interesting fight at the minute.
Yeah, Doheny's giving Inoue a puzzle to solve. It's not the most complicated puzzle in the world. We can see exactly what he's trying to do, but it's a puzzle in front of him.
He did. So Jab It Boxing's asking, did Doheny catch Inoue the right hook on the bell? It did look like he did, and then he said something to him, didn't he? As he walked away. Listen, it's a good fight so far. It's not, it's not going to knock you off your seat, but it's an intriguing fight.
And it's as much as we're talking about Inoue's power. I'll say again, 5 fights in Japan, 5 wins for Doheny, won all 5 by stoppage. There is rock in his hands as well. He can crack. Let's not dismiss the power that's coming back at Inoue here.
You can't. You can't. If Inoue gets sloppy, Doheny could put him on his back. We've seen him knocked down before. So, you know, Inoue's calling him onto him now. I think he's a little bit pissed off about whatever got said at the end of round 2.
Looks like there may be a small cut on the bridge of the nose of Doheny. I'm waiting for the cameras to zoom in. It could just be Vaseline. No, I'm wrong. Sorry, that was just Vaseline. It looked like there was a bit of a nick on his nose, but I'm wrong on that.
I agree with Jabit Boxing. You can see that Inoue is respectful of Doheny's power. He's conscious of what's potentially going to come back. Good spot, lad. Good spot. Oh, a bit showboating now from Doheny there, but he took a crack in the mouth for it.
You would say, and I mean, it's obvious to say now, looking at him in the ring, Doheny is the fighter that has to come down in weight to make 126, whereas Inoue probably is in and around the weight anyway. So Doheny is probably the natural figure. So I'd say Doheny's the big man in there tonight.
The bravado in each other now, aren't they? You haven't hurt me, it's not hurting me, sort of thing. Usually means it does hurt.
Calling the others bluff here, aren't they? Trying to seize, you know.
Yeah. I like this work from Doheny. He's winning this round for me.
Yeah, he never wasn't confident, but it just seems a bit more. He's standing a bit taller now. We haven't seen him ducking nearly down to his kneecap so far in the third rounds.
No, and again, he caught Inoue, and as Inoue tried to back off, the feet got tangled in it, and he sort of lost his footing for a second. I think that could play a pivotal role in this fight.
These glancing blows from Doheny, if you can just time them a millisecond better, they're going to be cracking Inoue on the jaw. Side of the head can still cause issues, and they can do a lot of damage, but they're just slightly off the target he's looking for. But he's finding a home for his shots so far, which is good to see.
Got the Philly shell. I like that. Little nod to Floyd there. He needs more than a Philly. Oh, good shot, Doheny. Very good shot.
For me. Inoue's.
Is he just giving him a chance to make it a bit exciting? Don't think so. I don't think so. I think he's just figuring him out. And at the minute, Doheny's got more coming forward in this round.
It's one thing we did say last week is Inoue can, if he wanted to take this round, and perhaps that's what he's looking to do.
Just take it off. Yeah. Possibly, yeah. But Doheny's doing what he needs to do. He got caught then, throwing jabs simultaneously, but
that's Doheny's third round for me. He's been in all 3 rounds, but for me, that third round was
10-9 Doheny for me. I agree. Inoue just hasn't done enough.
He's still very much figuring him out. He's still very much downloading the data he needs. And Doheny's already going through the gears, and we've seen this in fights before, haven't we? One fighter goes. Bellew Usyk comes to mind. Bellew was in 4th, 5th gear from very early on while Usyk stayed downloading the data. And by the time we reached the second half of the fight, Usyk was able to move up the gears and get the stoppage. Could see something similar here. Doheny is expending a lot more energy as we enter the 4th round, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's better already than a lot of people assumed.
I'm glad it's not been a blowout, as you said. I'm glad it's not been a blowout.
Yeah, not for me betting, but yeah. No, it's closer than a lot gave Doheny credit for this time yesterday. A lot of people were saying it were a mismatch, and he's going to get blasted out there. We've all expect him to lose, but he's putting up a great account of himself to press. It's 2-1. Here we go, round 4. Doheny's light on his feet, bouncing about. I know it's only round 4, but it has been a steady pace. Inoue's bouncing in and out of range now, loosening off his arms, throwing out the jab.
Doheny is starting to mark up. There's a mark above his right eye.
And he's worried about his scar tissue. He's got terrible scar tissue. He's looking for that left to the body of Inoue. Does he think he's weak to the body for some? He is looking for the body.
Comes back to the point I made a minute ago. Inoue is bringing himself up to this weight. So do they see that as a bit of a? I mean, you look at him. There's not an ounce of fat on the lads, but are they thinking there could be a weakness from having to bring himself up to the weight? Possibly not as strong as he was at the lower weight classes.
And again Doheny's catching him now.
We're not inside the team, so we're second guessing things here. But that does look to be part of the game plan.
But, doesn't it? And if you notice, Doheny's trunks are pulled way up above his belly button.
But the referee did say that they were high when he was speaking to them before the fight, so he knows.
I missed that.
Yeah. He gave quite a clear signal that too high, punches down here, so he knew that.
Okay.
That nose of Doheny is now bleeding. That nick I saw in the last round on the bridge of his nose. It won't play any impacts, but keep an eye on that as the fight goes on.
Yeah, it could start causing him issues. He has got a badly broken nose anyway, so I don't believe that a break will cause him much issue. No disrespect, but it's sort of splattered all over his face. I've been there. I've had 3 nose surgeries, sorry. So I know that pain, TJ. Great hook to the body there by Doheny. And he's still talking to Inoue. I don't know if his Japanese is on point, but he's definitely saying something.
Is it better than yours, Jay? That's the question.
Better than mine, mate. Better than mine.
Oh, Inoue.
I barely speak English, to be fair, brother.
I have asked for subtitles for you a few times, mate, but still waiting.
Sure. Very even round again. I think, and he is catching him cleaner, but I mean, yeah, it's as close as a round can be for me. This.
I'm leaning towards Doheny. Inoue's catching him as well, but Doheny's shots are the bigger shots, and I know that's not the sole way to judge a round, but for me, Doheny's bigger shots are having more of an impact, and that's what you look for. How does it look on the eyes? And for me, Inoue's the one he's not struggling, but he's taken a slight bit more of a backward step, isn't he, from what's coming back from Doheny than we saw in the first couple of rounds.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a level fight here after 4, which I don't know how many people would have expected that.
I think the last 30 seconds have sort of swayed me. I was leaning to Inoue, but I think Doheny looks very, very comfortable, doesn't he? Look, he's shrugging his shoulders and
he's big. And it's been
25 to 1. 25 to 1 the draw.
I'm just having a look myself now.
It was 25 to 1 when I bet this morning, and the man who loves a draw didn't bet the draw.
33 to 1 now, live in play. 33 to 1 the draw on Sky Bet.
Wow.
So that's gone out.
Bad.
But Doheny does look a lot bigger in there. As this fight, we're 5 rounds into this fight now, and just looking at it, he looks considerably bigger than Inoue. Is there more power in those punches than we're seeing? Because he's not. You wouldn't say they're the biggest punches in the world Doheny's throwing, but are they having more of an effect on Inoue than we're realizing just because of the sheer size? Could be potentially should be the biggest fighter we've seen Inoue in with, because we know Doheny comes down in weight, as we've both said already. Is this the biggest fighter we've seen Inoue in with?
I mean, yeah, Jamie McDonnell maybe. Jamie's a big lad outside there. I know they're thin, but the McDonnell twins, yeah, possibly
McDonnell
the bigger.
Himself down quite a bit though, wasn't he? At that time, that was 122, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's bringing himself down quite considerably.
But Doheny's full of movement, seems very confident. He's using his fast twitch. He's got a new
He's got a new against the ropes. How often do we see that? I can only think of Daenerys. I can only think of Daenerys really, or possibly early on in the Neri fight, but Neri was a lot more wild and reckless with his punches. Everything Doheny's doing is controlled and disciplined. So he's not giving Inoue those opportunities.
Inoue, for me, is starting to look a little bit uncomfortable. A little bit. Like it's just not going all his own way. This is what we wanted to see, though, didn't we? We wanted to see a fight, Liam. We didn't want to see a one-sided ass whooping.
Oh, we don't.
Raucous crowd shot there. Fanning themselves.
Doheny is starting to pick Inoue off as Inoue's coming in. Inoue's dropping his hands down lower than we normally see, and Doheny is starting to pick him off.
I tell you what I'm noticing as well. Inoue's dropping them elbows. He does not like those body shots. I'm not saying they're hurting him.
Another one. So as soon as he said that, another peach has just landed from Doheny. Doheny's starting to use his size now as well. I know I'm banging on about it. Pushing away, and that can have a difference in a fight when you're already taking punches and you've got a heavier man leaning on you. That can make a difference as well.
Yeah,
Doheny's only growing in confidence here. He's not wilting away, is he? He's just growing with every second passes. Showboating again, shimmying from side to side. It's doing a bit of a Floyd.
Tell you what, if this carries on for another minute, Doheny is leading this fight for me.
And I'm with
And
you there, mate.
he's keeping his left hand next to his chin, so he's not keeping his left hand next to his chin, so he's not getting caught clean. Watch him get taken out now. Now I've said that by a right hook. Shot.
I will stitch it instantly. Again, five rounds through this fight, and if you said to me before the fight, Doheny would be the one growing in confidence and looking the more comfortable in there,
you'd have laughed at me.
I'd ask what you'd had to drink this morning. You wouldn't expect it. Inoue is, you're right. He's not liking the body work, and he's not enjoying being pushed back. He's not enjoying having that weight on him. He's doing.
That's water, by the way, not vodka.
You
that's
said
for
it,
tonight.
Mate.
No punches pulled.
If Doheny can start pushing Inoue against the ropes instead of across the ring, it's going to have even more of an impact. If he can, mate, that's size difference still more, isn't it, Jay? I mean, you'll be able to tell me if I'm talking type here.
No, you're right. 3-2 to me. I gave that round to Doheny. Inoue looks to have a little nick under his right eye. I don't know if it's blood spatter from Doheny. Doheny's got that nose cut, but yeah, he's not liking the body shots. I don't think he's liking the Doheny. Seems to be taking control of his fight at the minute. Inoue looks sort of void of ideas. It's like plan A's not come to fruition and he hasn't got a plan B. I hope that's not the case at that level.
I tell you what this is looking like for me. This is looking like the first fight against Doheny, where he was a bit shocked after 5-6 rounds, and it took him a while to figure out what he was going to do. Wasn't expecting Doheny to still be in front of him, and it took him a few rounds to perhaps get over the shock, perhaps to figure out what he needed to do. And this looks very similar. The only thing I will say is he's taking more shots from Doheny here than he was against Doheny. Doheny was all pressure and the occasional shot, but Doheny is landing solid shots on a regular basis.
Can Doheny keep it up for 12? That's my only concern. Can he keep this up for 12? 37? But, I mean, who am I to judge?
It comes back to the comment I made a minute ago. Inoue, for me, is still in only second gear. Doheny's in fourth, bordering on 6th.
That's what I mean. If he really turns it up, can he stay with him? We're seeing that now. He seems to be on the front foot a little bit more now, and he's looking for headshots. But Doheny's paying him back every time.
When he's pushing Inoue, he's not just a little half step back. It's literally pushing him 2-3 steps back across the ring. He has to then completely reset himself. It's a considerable size advantage that Doheny has. Body work
solid left to the body there. That was a clean shot.
Little bends in the knees at that last body shot that Inoue just took. He's definitely not enjoying them.
Doesn't like them, does he?
Guys, if you're still with us, let us know in the comments what your scorecards are. As we're coming up to halfway through the fight. Me and Jay are giving you round by round, so let's see what we got.
I've got Doheny up 3-2, and we're now at round 6. We're coming up to the halfway point of the fight.
I'm 48-47 Doheny as well.
Doheny is giving a fantastic account of himself. So this is a kick in the teeth to the people that said it was a mismatch, because he's giving him more of a fight than 90% of the opponents we've seen him fight over the last 5 years. Other than, as you said, the first Nonito Doheny fight. Feet tangled again there. Doheny is looking a little bit ragged at the moment.
As ragged as Doheny's looking, Inoue's looking reckless. And how many times can you say that about Inoue? He is looking reckless. He's not choosing his shots. He is just winging and
leaping in with them.
Yeah, it's very... A lot of these punches are being caught on the gloves and arms from Doheny. Don't get me wrong, he's still feeling them, but he's not taking them flush, is he? He's managing to keep himself at least half covered up. Yeah.
Oh, that was clever. Caught Doheny there with a overhand right, but Doheny's paid him back tenfold. He is making Inoue work, and he is missing a lot. TJ Doheny, stand up. Oh, Inoue's got him in the corner, trapped. Big gasp there from Doheny, a big gulp of intake of air. for me, Doheny won that round. I don't know. Do you agree, Liam? I know there was a little bit towards the end, but 30 seconds doesn't win you the round.
58-56. And I'll go back to the point I made 60 seconds ago. Inoue is catching arms and gloves more than he's catching Doheny flush at the moment. He's getting shots through, but a lot of being caught, and Doheny's riding them well. Which Doheny's riding them well.
4-2 Doheny for me.
If you look at Doheny as he went back to his corner, he's flexing his back and his knee out. I'm not sure if when he got tangled up in the ropes, if something's gone in his back or knee. Interesting to see how he comes out at the start of the 7th. He was flexing as he went back to the corner then, so it'll be interesting to see at the start of round 7.
Oh, what's happened? Oh, he's done his leg.
It's gone.
Done. His back's gone.
I saw it.
No way. They've got a rematch. He was winning that fight. What? Oh, I'm gutted.
Mate, as I said to you, if you look back, they're going to show it now. If you look back at the end of the 6th round when he's against the ropes, he flexes his back out. He feels it go right at the end of the 6th, and he limps back to the corner then.
What a fight. TJ Doheny, stand up, mate. You proved a lot of people wrong there, brother. Well done. Well done. Rematch. He's going to have to rematch, is he? I mean, I had him 4-2 up.
I had him 4-2 up. It's an interesting one, like you say. It should be a rematch.
There won't rematch. No, there won't rematch. Trap nerve, I think.
It's Bob Arum, and we love Bob, but we also know the way Bob works. He doesn't give out rematches very easily, Bob, unless it's an absolute robbery. And they will want to move, despite Doheny being 37, they will want to move Inoue out and away.
I've only ever seen similar to that happen twice. Dave Ryan, Sandy Ryan's brother, I think his back went in a fight, and Ryan Burnett. I don't remember. It ruined his career. Ended his career, Ryan Burnett.
On the night Inoue fought in Glasgow as well, and that was Donaire. That's how we ended up with Inoue Donaire, because everyone thought the final for that Super Series would be Inoue against Ryan Burnett. And what a fantastic fight that would have been as well, by the way.
Yeah, that would have been some fight. Yeah, a bit of an anticlimax for me in a way. I think you got lucky there, lad. You got very lucky there, lad.
He knows it as well. Look at him. He's not, I mean, he never goes crazy, but he's not got up on the ropes at all, has he? He's very subdued. I think he knows he's been
7th round TKO my ass. That was a medical stoppage due to an injury to...
But Inoue moves to 28-0 with 25 stoppages. It's 24 stoppages, as we know. That was a medical... That was stopped because of an injury, but he's 28-0 with 25 stoppages. But yeah, I've just got the replay up now. As the 6th round ends, he takes a little shot, actually. He takes a little shot on his back at the end of the 6th round, just as the bell goes. And that's where the trouble is. It looks like it could have been, but it was definitely came... I just want to look at this replay again. Yeah, it's come from a shot. It's not at full power from Inoue. I'm not saying that's all it's anything malicious, but it comes from a shot. Just rewinding to have another look here. I've got the benefit of being able to do it. So he's covered up in the corner. As the bell goes, he takes it's an arm punch. He takes a shot, doesn't he?
It hits him at small of his back.
Yeah. Again, we'll both say, and we'll say the same when we do No Punches Fall tonight. There's no malicious intent in that from Inoue.
No, he's just throwing. He's just throwing, and it hits him in his back.
And you could see, and they're now showing the start of the 7th round, that Doheny's movement's gone there straight away. Yeah, Sam, I'm with Sam on this one.
Yeah, I had him 4-2 up, mate. It's disappointing, but great fight. You know, it is what it is.
Oh dear, he sat down on his stool here, and he now doesn't actually look like he can get up. His back may have gone into spasm here.
Well, I've had a sciatic nerve. It flares up every now and again, and sometimes I can't stand up straight. Honestly, the pain is unbearable.
there for Doheny, from the image I've just seen, didn't look like it was the best idea. He looks in all sorts of trouble there, which is a shame to see.
Bless him. Great
Sam was
fight.
talking about it tonight, but Bob will be moving Inoue away from this as quickly as he can. Whatever they have to do, if Doheny does choose to carry on fighting, they're going to move him away as quickly as possible.
They are, but do you know what? I enjoyed it for what it's worth. I enjoyed that fight. I really did. It's just a shame that it ended.
Yes, I'm just catching up with Sam's comments here. He's asked a few. So yeah, Inoue was in a fight there, mate. Doheny gave a much better account of himself than we probably all gave him credit for. And me and Jay both had him 4-2 ahead against Inoue as we went into that 7th round. We were looking forward to the second half of the fight.
Sorry, Sam. Good afternoon, brother. We were that engrossed in the fight, I sort of missed a lot of the comments. But no, I don't think he'll get another shot. I think that's his chance. But do you know what? Yeah, Jams Boxing has said Inoue came good in the end. Yeah, if you want to say that, I had him 4-2 down. It did look like he was starting to get into the fight, and yeah, that injury could have been caused by a punch. If it was caused by a punch, you shouldn't be punching in that far round in the back. So it's sort of, just a bit anticlimactic for me. I'm sort of disappointed in the end because I had TJ winning. So, we don't know what would have happened.
It is a shame that, unfortunately, the fight was bubbling along nicely, and that's the end we've got. But hey, as we said earlier, we'll talk about it tonight over on SW Fight Hub 7:30 for No Punches Pulled. We definitely got something more to talk about than we thought, didn't we? Yeah.
So, I think that's it then for the live watch along. It was good as long as it lasted. Thank you to everybody that's watched along, commented. Liam, thank you very much for your time, brother. It's very much appreciated. And I will see you in about 6.5 hours on the No Punches Pulled podcast, which will be over on SW Fight Hub's YouTube channel around about 7:30 this evening with myself, my co-host Liam Tully here, and the big man himself, Sam Walker of SW Fight Hub. Thanks again for tuning in. I will catch you all soon. See you later.